Hey, you guys, it's Demetria. Hey, I'm coming at you live. I hope this is recording that we can work this out because I know that there are a lot of things going on tonight. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll be here for the whole week with my kids. We come down every summer. One of my best friends lives here, and we do we call it Camp Cromer, and we blow out Atlanta for the week. It's a lot of fun, but it's exhausting on a mama. But so I'm down in the school. They do homeschool. So I'm in the homeschool room doing this live video. Hey, I'm going to give a shout out right now. I know Virginia and Tara are having their first ever event up in Maryland tonight. So they have started having events up there. The team is growing, and so they've never had events like we have here in Knoxville. And so they are kind of starting that up, and I'm so proud of them because that's so huge for their business. So they're doing that tonight. So y'all we're cheering for you and hoping that goes really well. So, okay. So I know a lot of y'all are going to watch this recorded. That's why I was saying all that. Hey, I want to say welcome to this training. I hope that this is something, as Molly and I were kind of talking about our team and the changes and the growth and all the stuff that's happening on the team, it's so exciting. And it's so fun to see all these leaders evolving and teams growing and people kind of really rising up and being leaders of their own teams. And that's great. But we wanted to make sure you guys felt equipped. We have all these new people joining the team, and they need one kind of training. And then all you guys who are kind of rising as the cream of the crop on this team, we wanted to make sure you guys were getting kind of some of just the little nuggets of leadership that, you don't want to be hearing necessarily the exact same things that brand new consultants are hearing. So we wanted to kind of do two separate trainings to give you guys specifically what you need. So I think that one of the things that I have experienced as you kind of become a leader on a team is, in a lot of cases, you didn't really expect it or didn't really know that this was going to happen. It wasn't like what you were looking for. Maybe it was what you were looking for, but all of a sudden you kind of find yourself in this position. And there's a lot of growing pains. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things that you aren't necessarily prepared for. It's like one minute you're kind of chugging along with your own business and you get a few consultants and that's great. And the next minute you're like, oh my goodness, I'm responsible for this person and I need to make sure that I'm setting them up well and that I'm taking care of my own business, but also able to help somebody else grow their own business as well. So there's a whole lot of distractions and growing pains and speed bumps and challenges that come with that. And those are some of the things that we're going to specifically address during these trainings. We're going to take 6 weeks and kind of go through a different topic every week. And I did put a little agenda up on the team page, on the duplicate page, that you can check back and look at if you want to kind of see what is coming every week. So one of the things I was thinking about is if we had time to kind of sit in here, which hopefully we will be able to do this on our retreat, but we would probably all share our story and it would all sound a little something like, gosh, I got into Rodan & Fields because I love the products and I thought it was really exciting and it was a really good opportunity. But I don't know that anyone would be like, I got in because I saw myself growing and being a level 5 leader and RFX. And I mean, that I think you begin to see that as you get going in the business, but I didn't, at least, and I don't want to put my thoughts on y'all, but I didn't think at the beginning that there was any chance in this world that I was going to end up leading a team of 150 plus people, right? I mean, it just was not on my radar. In fact, funny story, when Lynn, my upline, when I joined the business, I remember during one of our first conversations, she was like, well, now, I mean, if you ever want to kind of talk to somebody or if you ever have a friend that you think might want to sell this with you, I can teach you about that. And I was like, no, waste of time. Don't even finish your sentence. Not going to happen. I was dead set on the fact that I'm going to sell this product to a few friends and family, but I am not growing a team. It was not even on my radar, honest to goodness. And it's so funny how that honestly has been my favorite part of the business, is growing a team and leading a team and all that comes with that. That's been the most fulfilling part for me about Rodan and Fields, not actually selling the products. So it's funny because I always laugh about how, I mean, I just basically was like, oh, whatever, Lynn, you're wasting your time. But little did I know. However, no one tells you, when you're thinking about when all of a sudden you start growing a team, that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to get people to come join us in this business. That's the model, is you're supposed to get people to come and join your team, and they get people to come and join their team, and that's the beauty of this business, right? But the things no one tells you is that when that starts to happen, you start to feel some pressure that you didn't feel before, because now all of a sudden you're always responsible for your own personal business, but you do kind of have to keep an eye on what's going on down below you, right? You're the person that gets the phone call when someone's having a problem. You all of a sudden are a leader, and maybe you're like, whoa, how did I end up in this seat? Like one minute I'm selling a regimen and the next minute I'm a leader. It kind of happens like that. You aren't necessarily prepared for it. You find yourself asking questions you weren't asking before, like, how am I supposed to lead this person who is unmotivated? Or, what am I supposed to, I have the same amount of time, but now I've got to run my business and lead a team. Like, how am I supposed to do all of this? Or you have to balance your own business with also leading a team. And so, all these things, the game kind of changes, and you find yourself kind of like the story, your why and your story about the business, it really kind of changes. And your goals, they really kind of change. You're now looking at the business from the seat that you guys are in as leaders. You're looking at the business from a different position than you were when you very first started. So we're going to talk a little bit about changing our goals and changing our whys, because we're in a different spot now than we were before. It's time to maybe refresh that. We're also going to talk about mindset and belief, because I don't know if you're anything like me. When I first started the business, I don't really think I believed anything. I just thought, this will be great. I was excited. I was super excited, but I didn't really, really think my life could potentially change. I didn't really, really think, we're going to live off my Rodan and Fields salary, which, if you don't know my story, we have been living off my Rodan and Fields salary when my husband was unemployed for the past 10 months. So it has, but that was not at all what I believed about the business. I did not see that potential. I did not see that in my future at all. It was just like, I thought it was a good company and I thought it had a great product. But once you get into the place of leadership, like you guys are, and are growing into that, you really need to reset that and really need to claim it in kind of a new way than you did before. So each week we're going to look at a topic, and we're going to discuss, and I want you guys to be interactive with this. So when I ask a question on the Facebook page, I loved that, your feedback. And so those things that you guys asked about will fit perfectly into some of our weekly topics that we're going to talk about. But y'all are the leaders of this team. And so I want y'all to see yourselves that way and to respond that way. Oh, sorry. I just got a weird thing. I'm hoping everything's okay. We're just going to close that out. Okay. Hey, how are you? I'm recording it. Sorry, guys, for those who are watching the recording. Suzanne just jumped on. Hi. So, hi.
Sorry I'm late.
No. You're totally fine. You missed all the important stuff, but it's okay.
Sorry.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, I think we're still, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, wait, hold on. Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. Something weird happened. Okay, so what I was saying, Suzanne, just to back up a little bit, so all the girls in Maryland that are in this training, they're having an event tonight. It's their first one ever. So they're all doing that tonight. So say a little prayer. They were really nervous. They never have had events up there, and they're starting them themselves. So Virginia and Tara are there tonight. So I know, it's exciting. Okay. what I was talking about. Okay, so I was kind of just laying the groundwork. Each week we're going to look at a different topic, discuss it. And I really want you guys to start seeing yourselves as the leaders of this team. You are. Everyone else is already seeing you that way. Okay. So it's kind of what I was saying before, like, get used to it. You may not have been expecting to be a leader, but hey, guess what? Congratulations, you are. So other people are seeing you that way. So just embrace it. Okay. So that I would love your feedback. I would love the questions when I ask on the Facebook page and stuff. Would love for y'all to give that feedback, and we'll try to talk about whatever it is that you want to hear about. Tonight specifically, we're going to talk about duplication. Okay. And that is a word that honestly I don't really use very often. Unless I'm talking about Rodan and Fields. And honestly, in Rodan and Fields, I kind of found, I think of it two different ways. But I wanted to show you guys, when I joined the business a little over 3 years ago, I don't think they do this anymore, but this humongous pad, can y'all see how many of these they sent me? This pad of paper that has this little graphic on here. It's going to be backwards for y'all, but we're adults. You can figure this out. It, was so intimidating to me. I was like, what in the heck have I signed up for? I mean, can you imagine if this is the first thing? It's like, hey, welcome. Here's what you need to go do right now. Go get all these circles and fill them all in. And I didn't understand. I honestly, if I'm being perfectly honest, I still would have to look at this for about 5 minutes to figure out what this is. But I have learned a thing or two in the past 3 years. And I understand now that the point of this kind of thing, and I guess the reason, here's another version of it, a little more simple. I'll put this one and I put this one on our page, but this is what duplication looks like. So the idea behind duplication, the whole premise of our business is that you start your business, you get 2 people to start businesses under you, and they each get 2 people to start businesses under them. Not just 2, but for simplicity's sake, we'll say that, right? And it can just duplicate and duplicate and duplicate till all of a sudden you have many, 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 many more. I'll be honest, it took me a while to understand kind of the power of that and what that really looks like in your business, right? On paper, that sounds great. Like, okay, you just go get 2 people, and then they go get 2 people, and then they go get 2 people. The reality of duplication is, well, you might get one and they may or may not work, and then you get another one and they do good, and then they bring on somebody who may or may, the real life thing is not as cut and dry as this perfect little, diagram, right? So, however, that is the main idea behind our business, right? Is that we want to bring on business partners who then bring on business partners. And I say this all the time when people ask me, how much time do you really have to spend on Rodan and Fields? I'm like, well, I mean, it's not brain surgery, right? Like, we have to keep this pretty simple, or else you could not have this many people doing it. So that is kind of the other arm, I guess, of duplication, is that it is something that we have to keep super simple. The whole premise of our business is that we want to bring people on and have them bring people on and have them bring people on, down and down and down. And so you have to keep it simple in order for that to ever begin to work, right? So how can we successfully do this? Here's the trick. There's no trick. There's no trick. It is a simple, simple formula, and you just have to follow it. Okay. The definition of duplication is reproduction of a specific system of actions. So duplication is the reproduction of a specific system of actions. So like I say all the time, it's not brain surgery. We have to keep it simple, or else you could not have all these people, 15 new people joined the business on our team last month. That we could never, ever train all these people if what we were training them on was like, you need some special degree. So we have to remember that we need to keep it super simple. A quote that I heard the other day is that confused and challenged people are not effective. They're overwhelmed. And so that's something to keep in mind as we're duplicating, and as you guys all as leaders are duplicating and bringing new people onto your teams. If you bring them on and they feel confused or like, what? This is so overwhelming, they are no longer effective for you. right? They are overwhelmed and not going to be producing anything, right? So we need to start making sure that what we do and our posture and the way we communicate is very simple. Okay. I remember when I started, the first or maybe second person that I trained, she never took off. She never, I'm not sure to this date that she has more than like 3 PCs. Because she spent, and I did this is on me, guilty. I spent an eternity making sure she knew every single detail about Pulse, that she had a notebook that was literally like award worthy, that she knew every single thing that she would ever need to say to a PC, enroll a PC. Boy, she knew everything that all the details, all the things. Okay. I went way too far in detail. And you know what she did? She clammed up. I mean, she was done. She was like, this sounds like I need a degree. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is so impossible. And she spent forever making sure her notebook was in perfect order and that she had printed off 5 million pages of stuff. Like, probably she has the entire Pulse library in a notebook somewhere. But she never got a PC order because she was I'm guilty, okay? Because I was training her so in depth before she ever needed any of this training, okay? So she was paralyzed, basically. So now I think things have shifted a little bit, and I start more with, how much money do you want to make? Okay. Because let's be honest, the real reason people join the business, it may be for the friendships, it may be for the team camaraderie, it may be for the, discount on the products. But at the end of the day, when you're very first starting out, the paycheck is really going to motivate you, right? And so if you start someone quickly and start someone immediately doing income producing activity and they learn as they go, then they're going to be much more successful for you in the long run. Okay. If you say to a person, okay, I will teach you how to put a PC order in once you've gotten a PC order, then there's no wasted time, right? More than likely they have a warm market that they can go to and get an order from a friend or a mother or a sister-in-law or whatever. And then you use that order to teach them how to put in a PC order, versus what I used to do, which was like sit down for 3 hours with someone and teach them everything they could ever possibly want to know, which they'll never remember that anyway. So you want to teach them what they need to know to be successful quickly. And being successful quickly means something that is going to produce a paycheck for them. I mean, quite honestly, and nothing in Pulse is going to produce a paycheck for them, right? So they can learn their programs later. They can learn as you go. I remember I just trained my friend Yegi not too long ago, and it was like, I saw that she was talking to people about bringing them into business. So that's when I introduced her to the Fast Start program, right? Because I was like, okay, she's on track with this. Now I'm going to say, hey, just so you know, if you bring 2 people onto your team by the end of this date, you'll get your kit back. I didn't throw that at her the first second she joined the business. I kind of waited until it was gonna like land in a good spot. You know what I mean? So think about how, what are the things that people need to do to start successfully, quickly? I think that those things are making a list, obviously. And this is like the basics, right? But I think a lot of times the basics get mixed in with like 5 million other things that we do. Not that they're bad things. They just might not be the priority things. So I think making a list, reaching out to your warm market. I always say, get on the phone. I say, this is what I did. I got on the phone with all my friends that would have been really, really mad to find out that I was selling Rodan and Fields from Facebook. They need to hear it from me. And so get on the phone with those people and tell them, hey, I wanted you to tell you I'm doing this before it comes out on Facebook because I knew you'd be upset if you didn't already know. I'm selling Rodan and Fields, and use those conversations with your friends to reach out to your warm market. So it doesn't feel like a sales pitch. It feels like I'm letting you in on what's going on in my life. And then you can kind of say, if you'd like to try the products, or let me give you a sample or whatever. So make a list, reach out to your warm market. Language to get to a 3-way. So I think that that's really important to do first, and solution tool. I think those are kind of the 4 main things that you need to like immediately equip them with. That is our job as a leader, is to equip them quickly. But really the rest of the stuff we're going to figure out as we go. Okay. And also to let them know like, hey, this is what I do too. Like that we're all on the same page. What Demetria does, Suzanne does, Virginia does, Tara does, Katie does. We're all doing the same thing, that there's no secret sauce. It's not like, oh, well, once you get to another level, you'll learn something else. It's just this simple always. Okay. So I kind of already said, once you get an order, we teach them how to put in an order. There's no need to teach them how to manage a PC account until they've had a PC for like 50 days, because they're not going to remember, and so if you kind of go in there the first and you're teaching them all these fine details about managing a PC account, and they don't have to manage a PC account for 60 more days. So, that's something as a leader, I usually make a note in my phone 45 days out from helping them learn how to put in the first order. I need to circle back around to that consultant and teach them how to circle back around with their PCs, right? So just managing the, fire hydrant information, right? That we don't want to overwhelm them, because overwhelmed people are not effective people, right? Okay. So I think another thing to duplicate well is that you need to be super available to new consultants. I mean, I really try to immediately respond, happily respond, and not only respond, but if I say any question, there are no stupid questions, anything. Don't spend more than 5 minutes looking for something, okay? Because I don't want them getting lost in Pulse, and I don't want them spending an eternity poking around for all this kind of stuff, although that's good. And if they have the time to do that, that's great. But I want this to be simple for them, okay? So if they're like, oh, I'm looking for the Give It a Glow packet information, where do I find that? I can't find it anywhere. I'm like, boom, here we go. It's in Pulse, it's in Comms Corner, and I tell them very quickly, because I want them to move on. Let's keep going, okay? Like, I don't want you spending forever looking for something. I want to be able to tell you where it is, get it, and get it done for you, right? But the key to that is that you don't go get it for them and email it to them, okay? You do need to take the time to use those as teachable moments. So if you get a question, that you would tell them, okay, you can find it here, or here's where it, and sometimes I have to go look myself, because I'm like, I don't know where that is, but I go find it myself and then tell them the steps to find it, because what you want to do is begin to equip them to be able to do this stuff themselves. And also that goes into another point that we'll talk about in a minute, is that everything you do for them, you have to remember this. So this will kind of push you to go the extra mile, but everything you do for them as a leader, they hopefully in the future will do for someone else, right? So you have to just be mindful, like, I want to do this well, because I know I want, please, you to go do this for someone else, okay? So that will hopefully motivate you to kind of take the extra time to do it well, because everything you're doing, you're actually modeling for them on how to do it for someone else. Okay. So I try to think about that, like, oh gosh, it'd probably just be easier if I'm like, oh, let me just do it for you. But then I'm like, no, because I really want her to train another consultant on how to do this. So she has to know how to do it well. Okay. Well, and that was what I was going to, that actually is my next point, is that everything that you do, bringing them through your funnel. And Suzanne, I know Molly was bragging about you the other day, because she said she does it by the book, and it is awesome. Like, there's a system that works, and if you do it in the way they say to do it, which is basically, connect with someone, give someone some information, invite them to a 3-way call, and the 3-way call a lot of times does the deal, that is the system, and that works. There's no fancy tricks that we need to apply. There's no something special, because honestly, if we're not doing things that are duplicatable, then we're setting our whole team up for failure, because we have to make it simple. We have to keep in line with the way it goes so that they can look at us and be like, well, that's what she did with me, so that's what I'm supposed to do, I guess, right? Because we're the only way they know what to do. So here's another thing, and I'm going to try to wrap up here in just a minute with this, but this is, I think, a really big thing of being a leader and duplicating in your own organizations. As you guys are all starting organizations as leaders, your posture as far as this duplication and keeping it simple is so important, okay? You need to remember that you want to try to make this look easy, okay? Leading a team, training someone, you want to make it look easy. You want to make our business look easy, okay? Try to stay away from saying things like, oh, well, this is kind of a pain, but yeah, well, it's kind of confusing. Let me just try to talk you through it. And it's kind of confusing, but you'll get the hang of it, okay? Or saying things like, I really hate this part, but we just kind of have to do it. You want, or being frustrated that you've gotten like a million questions from the same person, or that your tone or your response time communicate frustration or exhaustion, or, because you have to remember that they're looking to you and you want them to grow a team themselves, right? So you want them to think that growing a team is really fun and a lot of it's a good thing, right? And so you don't want them to look at you and think, oh gosh, I'd never want to lead a team if that's what it makes you do, or I'd never want to lead a team if it, causes you to feel that kind of stress or do that kind of thing, or, so you need to remember your posture as far as leading your team, and just watching the way that we talk about that, or the way that we show the stress, because you guys are learning. There is a new level of stress once you have a team under you that you may or may not have wanted, but you are now the person that gets the call. You are now the person who has to field the question. You are now the person who carries things on your shoulders that you didn't carry when you were an EC, right? But you need to remember the posture that you have with your person on your team is really going to affect their desire to want to be a leader themselves. And believe me, you want leaders under you, right? So you just need to be mindful of that as you're leading and fielding questions and stuff, that you make it seem simple and you make it be like, oh, you know what? Oh yeah, this is simple. Let me show you this. And just even the way you talk, even the way you communicate, and that you try to communicate things that, because, at the end of the day, it is a simple business. We do have hiccups. We do have things that are confusing that you do have to get the hang of, but we don't need to talk about them that way. Does that make sense? I just think that that's a really important thing, that I feel like we can almost shoot ourselves in the foot. And then all of a sudden we have all these people under us who are like, oh gosh, well, if it's that stressful, or if you have to do that, or if, oh, I don't want to do that, I'm just going to sell product. So, okay. You don't want them to feel like it's flustering or annoying, because who would want to do that, right? Okay. So duplication, in a nutshell, is we're going to just keep it simple. We're going to, we have, and I know that you guys have all brought new people on and have trained them and have gone through that. I just want to make sure that we're being mindful of, we have the system, we have the 3 different emails you send out, we have the 3 different things where you kind of go through a checklist and make sure you've talked about all this stuff. I have found myself sort of like, strike through that. I'm going to come back to that later, because it's like, if it is not something that is going to encourage them quickly and get them out the door, to get people on their team or to get PCs, then really I'm going to save that for a little bit. I want to equip them with things that are important immediately. And I want to make sure that my posture is always positive and encouraging and training, particularly for the first 60 days. So I think that's just a little hot topic that, as a leader of a team, you can come across a lot, as far as like, what do I do? I have all these people. And then what happens is that this happens a lot quicker than you think. And I think some of you are experiencing it now, but it's like, you don't just have your directs anymore. Your directs have directs, and sometimes they even have directs, and you start going, oh my goodness. And so you want to make sure that the systems that you are using, they can use too, and they can use too, down and down, you know? And so that's why we want to make sure that we are keeping this as simple as possible, and that we are communicating things in a possible, in a clear and non-confusing way, okay? Because confusing is not effective. Okay, so I would love to hear from you guys what kind of questions. So when we go back on the Facebook group, I would just like to hear, after you're able to listen to this, what kind of questions you have as far as starting someone simply and in a way that is duplicatable, in a way that is going to help them get going. So what are some questions you have, and what are some things maybe even that we can do as far as on our team to make that simple for you guys? In the file section, there are, you know, there is the welcome email and the first training session, second training session, videos, all kinds of stuff that you can use. But what are you finding effective, and what are there holes? You know, what would be good for us to add in there? That would be an effective tool for you to use that you could then let your team begin using yourself. So, okay, that is about what I was hoping for tonight. Thank y'all for watching. Suzanne, can you unmute? Are you muted? Hold on, what does this mean?
Okay, can you hear
There
me?
you are. Do you have any questions or anything?
No, that was really great. I mean,
Oh, good.
that's exactly what I need right now. So,
Well, you do, because you are duplicating. So you are an active duplicator, which is amazing. But yeah, so if you want to go and make any note, or, you know, any comments, or if you, I mean, especially since you're so actively using this stuff right now, you know, like the training stuff that we have and the getting started, like, let us know if it's like, this seems too much, or what can we do differently here? Because, you know, we may need to update some of that stuff as well. So, or if you found something different that you're using that you're finding effective with your girls. So, okay. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. I hope I can get it up there for all these other friends to see. But we're so thankful for y'all and for your leadership and the teams that you're growing. Okay, we'll be back here next Monday night at 9 o'clock. Okay.